Hello and welcome to Tech Tool India. In this video, I'm going to explain all about Laravel 9 REST APIs. I'm going to explain CRUD operation with the REST APIs. I'll show you with the examples. You need a basic setup for installing Laravel 9. If you want to know how to install Laravel 9, you can click on the I button and check out the video. I have put a link in the description as well. So without wasting any time, let's get started. I have installed a fresh Laravel 9. As you can see, the current version is Laravel 9.6. So in this video, I'm going to take an example. Let's call it a post, which will accept two parameters, title and the description. So to do that, let's open this in our code editor. So it is a fresh installation. I need to configure the database first. Let's go into the database. I have already created a database called Laravel API. So I just update this database. What next? We need to create a model which will accept a title and a description for post. So let's create it. You can create it by running php artisan make model, call it as a post and give it a -m to create a migration for this. As soon as you create this, you'll see this has created a file for migrations. If you go to the migrations, you'll see this create post migration. Here what we need to take, we have a field called title, give it as a string, name it as a title. The second field which we are taking is a description for the post. I'm taking this as an example. You can take any other fields which you want. Alright, so we have made our migration ready. What next? Let's migrate it and see if it is migrated successfully. By running a command php artisan migrate, it will migrate our database. Yes, it's been migrated. Let's go into our database and check if all the tables are there. Yes, you can see this post table which includes title and the description. Alright, now let's go to the post, open the post model. Let's close this, go to the app, models and post.php. Here we need to define our fillable property in order to use a mass assignment. So I'll use protected $fillable and define two properties, title and description. Alright, so we have our property defined as a fillable here, the two fields which we want to mass assign. Next, we want to create a controller. For that, we need to run a command php artisan make controller. I'm going to create a folder called API for all the APIs and just creating post controller. And I can pass a model post. So the controller has been created successfully. If you go to the HTTP controllers, you'll find API folder. Inside it, you'll see a post controller and our post model is already used in this controller. Alright, so we have defined our post model, we have created our controller. The very next thing is to define, and this post controller comes with all the basic CRUD function, which is like an index function, create function, store, show, edit, update, and destroy. So these are the CRUD operations which we are going to see today. So let's define these routes in our APIs. Let's go to our routes api.php. For this tutorial, I'm not going to use any authentication. It's just a simple tutorial without any authentication. So I'm going to define this route and I'm going to call it API resource. I'm name it as posts and call its controller. This should be fine. Alright, so if you want to see what routes we are available, so you can just write in a command php artisan route list. If you see this API routes, you'll see all the API/posts are available here inside API. You see these are the redirected to this API post controller function, respective functions. So the routes are all set for the APIs. So the next thing, we want to test these routes. So I'm going to use Postman for our HTTP client testing. You can use any other HTTP client, or you can install extension on VS Code. You can use that, but for now I'm going to use Postman for testing all our HTTP client requests. So I'm just going to clear this, and next let's go to the Postman. This is the Valet URL which I have set up for our project. If you go to this, you will see Laravel API.test. This is a local URL I have set up. On this URL, if I just write this API/posts, if I hit this URL now, you'll see you are getting a 200 response, but you're not getting any of the data. The reason being, we are not returning anything here. So just to sake of our preview, like it's working or not, I'm just going to return a JSON response here, return response JSON, and in that I'm going to pass a status true and posts would be just a blank array. Let's go ahead and hit our API again. You see, you will have a status true, post is equals to blank. So our APIs are working. The next thing is to create a post and then get the response. So I'm going to add a new tab here. Just copy this post, use this. So if you go to our route, you'll see to create a post, the endpoint is API/post, but the method is post. So it will hit our post.store function. Let's make it a post, and in a body, let's pass a JSON object here, which includes a title. This is first post, and a description. This is first description. This is first post description. I'm taking as example. So now we are using our post method to store the post. Let's go into our function To validate it, I'm going to create a request here by just running a command php artisan make request store post request. So if you go to the app http requests folder, you'll see this store post request. I'm just going to authorize it always true, and inside a rule, what we want to put, we want a title. Title should be a required field. So this will be required, and the maximum value for this is 70. Next thing is the description. Description would be a required field. Alright, so we have created our request. So to store this, instead of request, I'm going to use this store post request. As I just use this store post request, it includes here on the top. You need to use this as app http request and store request, then you can use here directly on the store function. So what this is going to do, this is going to validate all the requests coming to this function, and if validation fails, it will return a validation error. To see our validation, I just added this store post request in the store function and dumped all the data. Let's see if this is working or not. Let's go in our Postman. So before sending this API, we need to add few headers in order to send a JSON data and get a response in a JSON. So we'll add a header, call is accept, put it as a JSON, and contain type, also the contain type of this request would be JSON. So the request and response should be in the JSON. That's why I'm sending this accept and contain type as a header. In a body, I have just put this like only title. I'm not sending the description. If I send this request, you'll see in the response the description field is required. That means our validation is working properly. Let's add a description here. Give it a comma here and add a description, test post only. So I just added a random description, and let's see if it is working now. Yeah, it's working now. If you just preview this, I have dumped the title, whatever we are getting on the request. So we are sending the title and description, and that's exactly what we are dumping in the controller. Let's go in our controller. As you can see, we have just dumped this data. Let's store this data by post create, give it as a post is equals to post create, and whatever we are getting in the request. And in order to return this, just return response JSON and give it a array, call it status true, and post is equals to post which we have created, and here let's pass a 200 as its success response. And you can add another parameter called message and give it a post created successfully. Alright, let's go to our Postman. Now let's send this. You see, we got this status as true, post created successfully, and with all the post data. Alright, so we are getting this response. Let's go ahead and update our update function. So in update also we are going to use store request, store post request as a store validation, and we are using this post. So what we are going to do, just update it, whatever the parameter we are getting, request of all, and just returning the same response as we have returned in a create. Just instead of create, let's say updated successfully. Let's create a new tab. I'm just going to duplicate this tab, and this time I have to add a put method here and pass the ID of post. If you go our root list, you'll see to update this we need to put API/post/post. Post stands for post ID, so it will automatically associate this ID with the post model. So as we know, the ID is 1, so I'm just passing this a 1, and we don't want to change anything in header. Let's go into the body and say it updated and call it updated. Alright, let's send this request and see what we get in the response. As you see, we got the post updated successfully, and if you see, the ID is 1 and we got our title and description updated. So this is working as well. Let's go to the destroy function, as this will just delete the response. So you'll say like post pointing to delete, and then return the response, and instead of passing the post, just pass this message, and to delete it, method should be delete and the URL should be the same. Let's go and duplicate this tab. We don't want to pass anything in the body. Method would be delete here. Let's send this. As you see, post deleted successfully. So we have completed this create, update, delete. Let's create another one. We have created this here. Now let's update this post here. Let's take a post function, post variable, and just pull all the post here and put it here in the variable. Alright, if you now hit the get API for the post, you'll see you have post. Let's create another one here and see if we are able to see that in a get response. You'll see we have 2 posts available. Alright, so I think we have covered the basic CRUD operation of APIs. It's very simple. What we have did till now, I'll summarize it quickly. We have created a post model with the title and description. We have created the migrated the table, and then we have created this post controller with all the basic CRUD functions, and we have used this index function. In a store function, we have created this store post request, which will validate our data with the title is required and maximum 70, and the description will required in this. And then we have defined our API resource here in the api.php file, and we have taken all the function here in the post controller, And in a store function, we have just stored the data and written the response. Similarly, we did on update, we just updated the data and returned the response. And similarly on the delete, we have deleted the data and written the response. I hope this will give you the basic information of how to create an API in Laravel 9. In the coming videos, I will going to explain you how you can authorize the user and return the response in an API. I hope this video is informative for you. If you found this video informative, please do like this video, subscribe our channel. Till the next video, keep watching, keep learning. Thank you for watching.